So काफी कंपैरिजन हुआ, कंक्लूड करेंगे. Appraisal of the development strategies of a country act as a model to others for lessons and guidance for their own development. In order to learn from economic performance of our neighboring countries, it is necessary to understand the roots of their success and failures and different phases of their strategies. Though different countries go through development phases differently, let us take the initiation of reforms as a point of reference. Reforms were initiated, very very important point, ये dates याद होने चाहिए बिल्कुल आपको. Reforms were initiated in China in 78, Pakistan 1988 और India 1991. So reforms, जो न्यू इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स, NEP, LPG, चाइना 78, सबके अपने अपने रिफॉर्म्स थे, बट चाइना में कब आए? 1978, पाकिस्तान 1988, इंडिया 1991. याद होने चाहिए. So let us assess the achievements and failures pre and post reform periods in China. China did not have any compulsion. इंडिया के तो कंपल्शन थी ना. We were left with 1 week of foreign exchange reserves. तो हमारे पास तो ऑप्शन नहीं था, हमें तो करना ही था सरेंडर. चाइना के पास कोई कंपल्शन नहीं थी to introduce the reforms as dictated by the World Bank and International Monetary Fund to India and Pakistan. तो उन्होंने बोल दिया था कि भैया चाहिए और पैसा, तो ये आपको सारी टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस माननी पड़ेगी. But some adverse situations of the economy prior to 78 forced China to go into reforms. Pre-reform period तो important है, आपको कंपेयर ये करना है कि pre-reform period क्या था और post क्या था. There had been massive extension of basic healthcare services in rural areas. Through the commune system, there was more equitable distribution of food grains. Despite extensive land reforms, collectivization, great leap forward, and the other initiatives, per capita grain output in 78 was the same as it was in 50s. In 78, the then government of China was not satisfied with the slow pace of the economy and lack of modernization under the Maoist rule. They felt that the Maoist vision of economic development had failed. As a result, a number of economic reforms were introduced in the year 1978. So, क्या फायदा हुआ? Each reform measure was first implemented at a smaller level. Pilot test survey कह सकते हैं उसको, और मतलब टेस्टिंग होती थी, उसके बाद एक्सटेंडेड ऑन अ मैसिव स्केल. डेवलपमेंट ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फैसिलिटीज इन द एरियाज ऑफ एजुकेशन एंड हेल्थ, लैंड रिफॉर्म्स, लॉन्ग एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड प्लानिंग एंड एग्जिस्टेंस ऑफ स्मॉल एंटरप्राइजेस हेल्प पॉजिटिवली इन इंप्रूविंग द सोशल एंड इनकम इंडिकेटर्स. एग्रीकल्चरल रिफॉर्म्स, handing over plots of land to individuals for cultivation, brought prosperity to a vast number of poor people. It created conditions for the subsequent phenomenal growth in rural industries and built up a strong support base for more people. तो बहुत छोटा छोटा है डेटा, कोई ज्यादा नहीं है, बट ये आपको पूरा पता होना चाहिए. तो ये बताया इन्होंने चाइना का. पाकिस्तान, in Pakistan, reform process led to worsening of all economic indicators. As compared to 80s, the growth rate of GDP and its sectoral constituents decreased in the 90s. 1988 में आ गई थी new economic reforms, और the economic reforms, new economic word मत use करना, reforms. इंडिया में उसको new economic policy का नाम दिया गया, NEP. The proportion of poor in 60s was more than 40%, which declined to 25% in 80s and started rising again in 90s. So very, very important. What were the reasons for slowdown of growth and re-emergence of poverty in Pakistan's economy? Number one, agricultural growth and food supply chain was based on good harvest and not on institutionalized process of technical change. So if you are dependent on good harvest, तो fluctuations तो होंगी, instability तो होगी. When there was a good harvest, the economy was in good condition. When it was not, the economic indicators showed stagnation or negative trends. So it was highly dependent on favorable climatic conditions. So first reason. दूसरा, foreign exchange is an essential component for any country, and it is always preferred to build foreign exchange reserves through exports of manufactured goods. However, in Pakistan, most of the foreign exchange earnings कह रहे दो ही सोर्स थे, एक remittances from abroad, जो आपका मिडिल ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज आ चुका है पॉइंट, remittances from Pakistan workers in the Middle East, and exports of highly volatile agricultural products. तो exports of agricultural products जो कि volatile थे, good harvest होगी तो होंगे, नहीं होगी तो नहीं होंगे, तो foreign exchange reserves strong नहीं थे. There was a growing dependence on foreign loans on one hand and increasing difficulty in paying back the loans on the other. अभी फिर उनको US फंडिंग दे रहा है, बट डिपेंडेंसी बढ़ जाती है ना फिर उनपे, तभी तो वो अपनी मर्जी से अटैक कर पाए पाकिस्तान में ओसामा. However, during the last few years, Pakistan has recovered its economic growth and has been sustaining. As per the annual plan of 1920, GDP registered a growth of 5.5% in 1718, highest when compared to the previous decade. While agriculture recorded growth rate far from satisfactory level, industry and service sector grew at 4.9% and 6.2% respectively. Many macroeconomic indicators also began to show stable and positive trends. This is post 1718. तो ये बहुत ही ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है कि ऐसा कैसे हो गया कि रिफॉर्म्स के बाद भी पाकिस्तान की इकोनॉमी ग्रो नहीं करी. अब वापस गिर गई है वो फ्लड्स के बाद ना, उनकी फिर इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन सही नहीं है. कह रहे इंडिया के बारे में तो आपने बहुत पढ़ लिया, तो हम दोबारा नहीं बताएंगे. तो व्हाट कंक्लूजन कैन बी ड्रॉ? India, China, Pakistan have traveled more than 7 decades of developmental path with varied results. Till the late 1970s, all of them were maintaining the same level of low development. Till the late 70s. फिर late 70s इसलिए क्योंकि 78 में फिर चाइना की रिफॉर्म्स आ गई. The last 3 decades have taken these countries to different levels. Indian economy has performed moderately, but majority of its people still depend on agriculture. India has taken many initiatives to develop infrastructure and improve the standard of living. It is yet to raise the standard of living of more than 1/4 of its 22% people are still below the poverty line. Pakistan, political instability, keywords are political instability, over dependence on remittances and foreign aid, along with volatile performance of agricultural sector are the reasons for the slowdown of Pakistan economy. In the recent past, it is hoping to improve the situation by maintaining high rates of GDP, which again got affected because of COVID and the recent floods. Many macroeconomic indicators began showing positive and higher growth rates reflecting the economic recovery. All this data is pre-COVID. All this data is pre-COVID. COVID ने तो दुनिया ही बदल दी. बट सैडली बुक्स में इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं करा हुआ वो डेटा, जबकि अगर आप पढ़ रहे हो तो आपके लिए तो ज्यादा रेलेवेंट वो भी था. ठीक है ना, कि मतलब करंट सिचुएशन क्या है. ठीक है, मतलब अंडरस्टैंडिंग टर्म्स तो चेंज नहीं होती, टर्म्स के मीनिंग चेंज नहीं होते, बट अगर कंपैरिजन हो रहा है तो फिर अब 3 कंपैरिजन होने चाहिए. एक प्री रिफॉर्म्स, एक प्री कोविड, एक पोस्ट कोविड. बात समझ आई? तो वो एक परफेक्ट ग्रोथ हो जाएगा. लेकिन ठीक है, मतलब स्कूल लेवल पे नहीं है, तो मैं कह रहा हूं ना कि अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग कंप्लीट रखनी है, तो वो उस लेवल पे होगा कि वो सब तो ठीक है सर, आज की डेट में क्या सिनेरियो है, तो वो भी हमें पता होना चाहिए कोर्स खत्म करने के बाद. चाइना. In China, the lack of political freedom and its implications for human rights are major concerns. कह रहे human rights वो क्या होते हैं? However, in the last 4, कह रहे हम ध्यान रख रहे हैं तुम्हारे लिए, तुम्हें मतलब हम पे भरोसा नहीं है. However, in the last 4 decades, it used the market system without losing political commitment and succeeded in raising the level of growth along with alleviation of poverty. China has used the market mechanism to create additional social and economic opportunities. By retaining collective ownership of land and allowing individuals to cultivate lands, China has ensured social security in rural areas. Public intervention in providing social infrastructure brought positive results in human development indicators in China. ये जो स्लाइड है ना बेटा, ये 6 मार्कर के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो लिखना आना चाहिए, आपको याद करना. एज इट इज आप लिख सकते हैं, बट आपको ये याद करना पड़ेगा कि क्या है क्वांटिटेटिव अप्रेजल, प्री रिफॉर्म्स, पोस्ट रिफॉर्म्स, डेटा याद करना पड़ेगा।